Hello friends and greetings once again from Beijing. Today I wanted to take a break from all the historic and touristy kinds of things and all the food to take you to something a little fun that I did just a couple weeks ago, and that was the Happy Valley Amusement Park. Happy Valley is a rather large Disney World-esque theme park in Beijing. I actually was not expecting it to be quite as cool as it was. I've been to a number of theme parks all around Asia. They all sort of vary in quality, and of course you're always comparing them to Disney and Universal. This one, I have to say, overall really holds its own. So the park is really pretty easy to get to. It's on its own subway line. So you just get right off the subway and here you are at the entrance to the park. Admission is normally 260 yuan. Now the park itself has 6 main themed areas. Those include Atlantis, the Ant Kingdom, the Aegean Sea, Firth Forest, Lost Maya, and Shangri-La. There are more than 40 rides, 10 of which are extreme rides, an IMAX theater complex with 7 screens, and a shopping complex as well. Now, the first thing that you see when you walk in, the focal point, is the Extreme Rushar roller coaster and the large Atlantis Tower, which houses another roller coaster that's a Superman-type roller coaster, which unfortunately was closed on the day that we went. As you walk clockwise around the park, you come through kind of a carnival area, and then you come to the Ant Kingdom. The Ant Kingdom was really well themed. Here is a 4D theater where you can see a few shows. They had an Ice Age tie-in going that day. I really saw quite a bit of influence from Disney's Bugs Life Pavilion at Disney's Animal Kingdom Park. But what they really did is took a lot of these fun little rides, most of them for kids, and some of them the kinds of rides that you'd see at a carnival, but really dressed them up with this ant-type theming, and it worked really well and gave you a good sense of being under the ground, I guess, at an ant-type scale. Then you cross a bridge and you come to Shangri-La. This is the Tibet themed area, which was really well themed. Really liked the shops. You could buy Tibetan type merchandise and things here. The Tibet area is home to a few things. They had these twin tower rides that shoot you up or drop you down. Also had a walk-through haunted house here. We went through this, and unfortunately, like most of the rides, they get kind of a slow going in the beginning of the day. If you're going to visit this park, you have to know that most of the rides in the morning are going to be closed until about noon. It seems like when we visited this walkthrough, a lot of the people who were supposed to be working in there weren't actually going out and scaring folks. So it was a little lackluster for us, even though the setting itself and the size of it was pretty impressive. The roller coaster here in Tibet is Golden Wings and Snowfield. It's one of those where you hang down below the track. Really fun. There's also a stunt show, a kung fu style stunt show here in the Tibet area as well. It was really pretty cute. You don't need to understand Chinese to be able to get what's going on here. Lots of great stunts, lots of great martial arts going on, and some Keystone Cops type comedy with these 2 police officers. We enjoyed it. Walk across and around the lake again, and you come into the Lost Maya world. Lost Maya world is done up like the Mayan civilization and looks a bit like a jungle. There was a Mayan-themed restaurant there, and a number of attractions here. The first one, a really great roller coaster, a kind of runaway mine train kind of roller coaster that was called Jungle Racer. And this was maybe one of my favorite coasters in the park. It was a very long ride. It took you through lots of great theming, and again, we were able to walk right on. It comes up this hill twice, so it takes you around. It doesn't go upside down, but it travels through and around the jungle and the different Mayan pyramids. And then it comes back to where that drop was in the first place, takes you down again through a whole different section of track. So it's a very long ride and really well worth the wait if you end up having to wait. There was a stunt show here we didn't get to see, but this is the set for it, called the Mayan Catastrophe. Then inside this large ship, some bumper cars. Pretty fun, again, because we didn't have a lot of other things to do. Rides were opening a little later. We enjoyed the bumper cars. The biggest attraction here, and one of the biggest in the whole park, is this Apollo wheel. We were told that at one time it actually went upside down, but it was too scary for everyone, so they just went up sideways. Also here, if you're familiar with Disney and the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse, there was another Mayan-style treehouse that you could walk through. You did sometimes see this influence throughout the park, where you could see they were flat-out copying or inspired by parts that you would find in Disney World. The most egregious example of this was Happy World, which is a straight knockoff of It's a Small World, that classic Disney ride. But I have to say, it's a really impressive ride, and it puts its own unique spin on it that made it very nice. It's a good 9 minutes long, and if you're interested, I posted an entire ride-through up here on my YouTube channel. But it takes you through the different countries, just like It's a Small World does. However, it does it within the context of those countries' holidays and celebrations. So it does put a nice little different spin on it, and it's chock full of animatronics and effects and great lighting. It was really a lot of fun. Here in the Aegean Sea area, one of the biggest rides is this water ride called Journey of Odyssey. Now, I'm used to these water rides where you know you're going to get wet at the end, and normally I don't get a poncho. Here they were handing out ponchos. So we thought, I might as well put them on. They were free, no big deal. And it turned out to be a very good idea, because the 2 drops in this ride are among the wettest drops I've ever been on this type of ride. And if that's not enough, there are 5 or 6 places along the way between the drops where people can pay 2 kwai to spray you with water pretty relentlessly. So we came out of it soaked. The food there was actually a lot cheaper than at most theme parks. I was pretty surprised by that. Here we had a foot-long hot dog dressed up with ketchup and mayonnaise, pickles, and some French fried onions. And then if you've ever been to Tokyo Disney Sea, you would recognize this section right away. This was the Fanta Sea area, which was clearly modeled after the Little Mermaid area in the Tokyo Disney Sea. But this also held 2 very large attractions. One was the Dream Coaster. This was a simulated roller coaster ride. I think every time you go on it, they'll put you through a different simulated coaster. And the other ride here was called Soaring Over the Aegean Sea. It took you on kind of a fantasy ride through and over the great battles of ancient Greece up to modern day Greece. And much like the Disney Soaring ride, takes you way up into the air over a giant screen. At this point, we came back and we had to do the Extreme Rusher. This was, as far as I'm concerned, the best coaster in the park. It starts out with the fastest launch that I've ever been on any coaster and takes you through this pretty nice track. As a roller coaster enthusiast, I highly recommend this. And here in the middle of the Atlantis area, there's not a lot to do if that coaster's closed like it was for us today. So we went on to this viewing platform that takes you up and over the park with some great views. And I'll have to say, it was small enough and high enough that in itself, it was a bit scary as well, particularly because there seemed to be a thunderstorm brewing around us that day. So we saw some lightning while we were straight up in the middle of the air on this giant lightning rod, and we couldn't wait to get down. But this gives you a great view of the entire park, and you can see the layout and how huge it is. It's really pretty extensive, with the city surrounding it there. All in all, I really enjoyed my trip to this park. Happy Valley was well worth the cost, especially if you're interested in thrill rides. If you like roller coasters, if you like those carnival type rides that take you upside down and spin you around. The other thing that struck me about this park was the theming. A lot of theme parks around the world try to copy that Disney style, and a lot of times you can see the seams and the cracks around the edges. This park was clean, it was well maintained, well painted, and clearly well designed. I'm just very impressed to see that the park could pull that off and make a Disney-type experience right here in downtown Beijing. If you liked this video, please share it with a friend. You can subscribe to us here on YouTube by clicking that subscribe button down in the corner, and check out some of my other videos. I've got a video up about Disney Shanghai shortly before it opened, and also, of course, that ride-through of Happy World.